Hey everybody, it's Casey here at Here on Fly and Tackle. Today I'm going to show you how to tie a multi-toned thread body chironomid. Okay, so what do we need to tie a blended thread body chironomid? I've got my tying vise, I've got my hook here. I'm going to use a Daiichi 1760 in a size 14 for this video with a 3/32 painted white bead. You can use white beads, you can use whatever color bead you like, with gills, without gills. It's good to have a variety of chironomids in your boxes. Not that you guys don't know that already, but just want to emphasize that point. You can never have too many different variations of chironomids. So from here, I'm going to be using multiple colors of thread, so it's nice to have multiple bobbins. Is it possible to do it all with one bobbin? Yes, it is. The downside, which is a massive downside in my opinion, is having to switch the color each time for each step. Chironomids should be quick and easy to bang out, fill out a box. If you got to change your thread, especially if you're going to use more than two colors, it gets super cumbersome and just to be a huge pain in the butt. I wouldn't recommend it. Wouldn't be a fun time, but if you just want to try one or two, but by all means, go ahead, let her rip. For tying thread, UTC Ultra thread and a 70 denier is still my favorite for this. Some colors just straight up are not available from UTC readily. It's been a problem for a few years now. It's nothing new if you're heavy into the chironomid tying scene. UTC Rusty Brown being one of the more popular colors that we cannot find these days. I think I've seen it once come through our store in pushing 3 years now, maybe twice, and we buy a lot of UTC thread, so you'd think we'd see it. But if they're not making it, if they can't get it out, then we can't get it. So Semperfli, the classic wax thread in an 8/0, is becoming popular, or is getting quite popular for tying chironomids, and this Rusty Brown will work nicely for a collar or for even a body as well too, if you're into that color. If you're on a particular lake where that's a prominent one. Other things I'm going to use, for a rib, I'm just doing pretty basic patterns here. I'm just going to use ultra wire in either small or extra small. I'm not so much trying to show you a specific pattern as I am a technique. That being said, just with a basic wire rib makes a very effective fly. You can add buzzer wrap over top of these anti-static bag or window tint ribs. Look phenomenal over top of these blended bodies, so definitely worth a shot if you haven't tried them already. So first thing I'm going to do, obviously, aside from fix my bead onto my hook and place it in my vise there nice and tight, is I'm going to take the first color that I want to have showing, or the color that's going to be showing at the back of the fly. You see a lot of chironomids with red butts, so I'm going to do one with a red butt, but not limited to just red. You can do this with as many colors as you want. The one limitation would be how fat this fly gets. You can use every color in the rainbow in this thing if you want to, but what's going to make it difficult is trying to keep that nice thin tapered slender body that you'll see prominently on most chironomids. There's always exceptions to the rule with Mother Nature, and sometimes you can get fat chironomids and they can really key in on that. So it is good to have a bit of a selection, but typically on the slimmer side is a little safer than on the fat side when it comes to chironomid tying. So I've got my thread attached to the hook there. For this guy, I think we're going to do a black and red, just two-tone. I'll put a collar on the end there, so technically it'll be three, but I don't really consider it a three-tone body. And black and silver is always popular, so I'm just going to grab some silver UTC Ultra wire, and I'm going to lay that down over the back of the hook, and we're going to tie that in right behind the bead. And reason being, right at the bead instead of right at the butt where we're going to start wrapping it, is I don't want to have a big bump at the butt of the fly. If I got a big fat bump and then go to a skinny body and then taper it up, it's just going to look unnatural. So I'm going to try and lay down as uniform of a body all the way down to the bend. butting those wraps up so that there's no gaps if at all possible. I'm going to take that down as far as I like, and I'm going to do the same thing back up the shank of the hook. Just nice uniform wraps, side by side. We don't want them crossing over or bunching up if we can avoid it at all. This can take a little bit of practice. If I bring it up to the front, I'll whip it off here. And again, I'll finish it at the end here because with the most wraps, because that's where the thickest part of the fly is going to be, and I can hide that in there. So that is my red base for my red butt. We're done with the red for now. Next up is I'm going to take another bobbin that I've got loaded with the black, and we're going to tie that in where we finished off that red thread right behind the bead. Now, there's no set rule with how much of a red butt you leave showing and how much black body or green body or brown body or whatever color body. Sometimes you see chironomids with just a little tiny bit of a red butt showing, and those fish will key on that, and sometimes you're, 2/3 of the way almost. So again, I have a few different ones in the box. What I like to do, if I got my bases covered, I can always go back in and tie a couple at lunchtime or in the evening. So we'll space our wraps up as we get further back in the fly to show more red. And we want to have more solid wraps as we get towards the front of the fly. Now, black is a super solid color, so you don't need too many wraps to cover the red and not have it show through. If I was using, what's a good example, like light olive, for example, or the ever popular blue dun. Blue dun with the red works awesome. You'll need a few more wraps of those threads to prevent that red from bleeding through at the front of the fly when we apply glue to this fly. With black, that's the easiest by far to keep a super slim, skinny body because you need the fewest wraps, just being the most solid color. We want to keep, sorry, my thread twisted on me there. There we go. And we want to keep that taper in mind. As we get towards the front of the fly. And you know what, I'll throw a rusty brown collar in this one, just for fun. Oh, sorry, they call this one rust, but we'll tie that in again right behind the bead. I'm going to take my wire and I'm going to rib my fly. I want my wraps, my wire wraps, to be spaced out further at the front of the fly than I do at the back. Again, just to kind of imply that natural taper. Helicopter off my wire. Minimal whip finishes, again, just to try and keep that fly slim. And I'm going to soak this in glue so it's not going to fall apart. I don't have to worry about my knot coming undone here. So from here, I'm going to take some Raid Zap Super Thin. I got carried away there trying to get that on camera. I'll use a bodkin just to spread it out. And there's even still a little more than I like there, so what I do, just take a little piece of paper or something, and I can clean up the excess. From there, I'll just hit it with a UV light. And there you have a very effective multicolored bodied chironomid. Oh, I got a little bit of a tag there that I missed, but that's okay. So you can do this in a wide variety of colors, like I said, with as much or as little of that red showing as you like. So this is that blue dun UTC over red with a copper rib. I was messing around with that Semperfli thread. I did one a little bit fatter with again a red butt, copper rib, and that rust body. And this was just another blue dun with just a little less red showing for the butt. So lots of things that you can play with. Again, let your imagination run wild. The amount of blending that you can do with different greens and just get an unreal effect. And like I said, with that anti-static bag thrown in there and buzzer wrap and that sort of thing, it's really, really, really cool, the effects that you can get and how realistic these bugs can look. So, hope you guys like this one. I know we're coming into chironomid tying season here, being the dead of winter. I mean, it's dang cold out there right now. I think minus 13 as I'm tying this one. So, great time to be inside tying flies, get those boxes loaded up for the spring, and start thinking about warmer times. So, hope you guys like this one. Hit that like button for me, share it with your friends, and don't forget to check us out, www.c-run.com. Thanks for watching, everybody.